If you're a business owner and you're wondering how crypto could potentially 10x your business, but you're also ready to do something crazy, I'm going to show you how you can utilize crypto to your advantage. And no, I'm not talking about accepting it for payments. Take it from me, I've actually tried that. Nobody actually wants to spend crypto. They treat it as an investment, at least for now. So you're probably 5 years too early on that. If you accept crypto for your business as a payment, you might get like 1 or 2% of your customers to do that, but it's just not feasible. I'm talking about investing in the coins themselves, but as a corporate entity. Now, we've already seen this trend with a lot of different companies. Here I've got the strategic Ethereum reserve. These are a bunch of companies committed to actually holding Ethereum in their treasury. Now, for Bitcoin, strategic reserve companies, there's already a lot of people doing this, and this is going to be the new trend, at least for this next short term. But I also predict over the next decade, it's going to be more and more common for businesses to hold crypto, just as much as it is for them to hold equities and real estate and other assets that actually pay them. Crypto is just one of those things. It's a tool in your arsenal that you could easily 10x if you make an asymmetric play and hold for the long term. Because look at these treasury companies right now. You've got Sharplink Gaming, who just bought almost $1 billion of Bitcoin. Bitmine, which is a Bitcoin mining company, is actually buying Ethereum, ironically. So they bought $500 million of Ethereum. You've got all 10 of these companies, which are the pioneers that are taking that leap of faith that Ethereum is going to be the future, because they see what I also see, which I make endless YouTube videos about. Ethereum and PulseChain being a clone of that. It's like the next wave of technology after Bitcoin. Imagine if Bitcoin was actually useful. You can't program on Bitcoin. Ethereum is like the digital oil, whereas Bitcoin is like the digital gold. And on Ethereum, you can actually make 4% APY. But if you want to do something really crazy that nobody else has done yet, you can actually make 10% APY or more on this up and coming blockchain. I'm talking about PulseChain, obviously. And if you invest it as a treasury asset, you can do that in a compliant way through gainpulsechain.com, which looks kind of like this. Link in description below. You're going to sign up for this exchange account, and this allows you to link your business bank account and actually hook up your EIN, your entity number. So down here, you can see I've got a personal account and then a business account with this exchange. And it's very easy. They've already gotten all the compliance steps. They jump through all the hoops so that you don't really have to. All you do is click add entity right here. And after you signed up using that gainpulsechain.com link below, by the way, you also get 5,000 free tokens that lower your fees. But if you link your entity, there's an advantage for many reasons to investing as a business. Not only can you invest in assets that pay you, but you can invest in assets early that are extremely asymmetric. And you could think of this like a long dated call option almost, because as long as it pumps at some point in the future, you know, with PulseChain in particular, what you're looking at here is basically a coin with nothing but potential and a 2-year shakeout that's 75% down from its initial prices, but is also entering the bull phase of the crypto markets. And with all the sell pressure, all the capitulation, from my perspective, there was an SEC lawsuit, which PulseChain and Richard Hart, the founder, defeated the SEC. So these also have legal clarity. But what I'm saying is basically PLS or HEX or PulseX or any of these core assets, they've taken a beating more than any other coin I've seen. And this is just about as far as they seem to be able to get pushed down. So the risk reward here is that, well, the risk is it goes to zero, just like Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. But since we know these things are all just copied off of existing stuff that's been around for 10 plus years, like Pulse is a clone of Ethereum, from a technical point of view, it's decentralized. It really can't be taken down by any government or any entity. And I find it highly, highly unlikely that this will just explode on a technical basis. To me, it's just a ticking time bomb of when this thing is going to pump. And the fact that it's got such low liquidity means if you're diversified into an asset like this, an easy 10x could be on the table. And a 10x for people in business is pretty unheard of, especially when you consider it a set it and forget it asset. There's not an active management if you're just buying and holding the coins for a couple of years. So you've got this compliant on-ramp that's going to take your EIN. You've got the ability to diversify into a new asset class. If you're wondering, you know, a lot of people are asking how to get into crypto, especially business owners. And obviously you don't want to trade if trading is not your business. You don't really want to do the payments thing. Crypto is a long-term store of value, buy it, set it and forget it asset. So you're diversifying into something that can pump really hard, which like I said, has been stress tested almost as much as it possibly can be. And you've also got the brand reach of people in the crypto market getting excited about your company. Like these companies get publicity, Sharplink Gaming, Bitmine, etc. They get articles written about them. They get a lot of publicity and they benefit from that boost, that brand boost of everybody being excited and cheering for these big companies to buy the same coins that, you know, a lot of retail has already bought. That's why you see people cheering for Michael Saylor in Bitcoin. And we haven't had a large company, as far as I know, fully allocate a large position into PulseChain and be public about it. Now, maybe some companies have done this in private, and you don't have to be public about that. All I'm saying is that the brand reach with being public and kind of bragging about the fact that you're taking this leap and being a pioneer, you could look at that like an advantage, or you could keep it a secret all to yourself. But more than anything else, it's just the asymmetric upside that comes from being a real early adopter. That first mover advantage, when you look at a chart that is this wrecked and this consolidated over such a long time, And you realize that last time we were at these low points, the liquidity was like 10x higher. So now the price is right back where we started at the previous low, but 1/10 of the liquidity means a lot of potential, basically nothing but potential. And if you wanted to get fancy, you could generate 10% APY by staking your Pulse in a validator and learning how to do that. You could stake your HEX for a couple of years and earn 2, 3, 4% APY on that. And year over year, it ends up being something like 15 or 20 for these multi-year stakes. And when I talk about APYs, I mean that they print more of the coin, right? So it's not like you're making APY in terms of dollars. You're making more Pulse or you're making more HEX. And PulseX is a different beast, okay? This is a deflationary token, which is getting more scarce every day. And if you want to get really, really fancy, if you want to pick some combination of these coins and lock them in a liquidity pair, if you don't care about impermanent loss, which you will experience, let me just tell you right now, but if you don't care, if you don't want to have to pick a winning horse, you could lock any two of these coins together in a liquidity pool and benefit from all the volume being traded between these coins and earn anywhere from 20% to, I don't know, higher than 50 sometimes. Let me point out those APYs for you really quick. So we're going to go to app.pulsex.com just to show you some of the potential here. We'll go over to V2. We'll scroll down to the top pools. We can see here, for example, pairing Pulse with stablecoins with dollars is earning 28% APY today, which as a higher net worth individual, as a business owner, maybe a portfolio manager, somebody managing 6 figures or more, to get exposure to Pulse and be selling on the way up and earn 28% APY to do so, it might sound risky to the average person, but to me, this feels like you're buying a heavily underpriced asset with low liquidity and easy 10x potential and earning APY to do so. Now, what triggered this idea for me is that a lot of the Ethereum companies are following what Bitcoin did. And so if PulseChain is the next step in the evolution of things, if PulseChain could follow what Ethereum is doing and have strategic Ethereum or strategic PulseChain reserve companies, I think that could be pretty bullish, not only for your potential business, but for the publicity of saying, oh, a corporate entity took the leap of faith to invest in some of this brand new tech with crazy price potential. Sharplink Gaming is in the news a lot, right? All they do is buy ETH. I think they were a gaming company, but that's not even what they're known for. BitMine is a Bitcoin mining company, and even they're betting that Ethereum is probably going to outperform Bitcoin in the near future. And again, as long as PulseChain pumps at some point in the next 2, 3, 4 years, and the fact that it is down almost as much as I think it can go down, again, the price chart of all these coins has taken maximum pain, maximum fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And if you buy near the lows, then the only way left to go is up. Of course, these could keep going down. Of course, there's always existential risks to all this stuff, but it's been working flawlessly, copied from existing code. And a lot of business owners do want to know how to get exposure to crypto. And they want to sometimes do things that don't make sense, like accepting it for payments. It's really simple, guys. Crypto is a set it and forget it, buy and hold asset. And companies are now catching on. So again, at 0xcoast.com, my invite link is gamepulsechain.com. You can make a personal account. You can link your business entity. You can click add entity here and go ahead and just enter all of your formation documents, your address, your EIN, your business name. You'll be approved within a day. And then you could on-ramp, meaning you could buy the coins directly into your crypto wallet from this exchange using money at your bank, whether wire transfer, ACH, whatever. And when you want to sell, you also sell through this exchange and take profit one day. Or if you hold long enough, who knows, maybe even borrow against it. And if you borrow against it, you should know this as a business owner, right? Borrowing against assets typically incurs 0 taxes. So if your net value, if you have 100K of Pulse and it goes up 10x, you could borrow heavily against that one day as a profit-taking method in a decentralized way. I'll make future videos about that. But you could, extract $900,000 worth of stablecoins. And even if you do get liquidated, you'd have 9x your initial value. That's potentially tax-free that you can then go and use to reinvest in your business or use it for your own personal, paying employees or whatever, upgrading things within your business. It's just something that nobody's talked about. And this is a way to unlock massive inflows. Because Ethereum is getting strategic reserve inflows. They're also getting ETF inflows. Bitcoin is doing it. And a lot of other big coins, Solana, Ripple, they've got ETFs on the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see companies dipping into a basket of cryptocurrencies. And when it comes to companies choosing from a variety of cryptos, PulseChain does have that founder, that technology, that community that is proven that it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be around here for years because it's already been around for 5 years. These have never had a technical bug. All they've had is extreme volatility. HEX one time went up 10,000x. Now it's right back down 98%. And that smells like opportunity for some people when you realize all you really have to do in crypto is buy low and sell high. And if you don't like HEX, Pulse and PulseX are brand new. Brand new and just trading sideways, range bound, and down, 75% from their initial launch prices. It's food for thought. You have to decide. It's completely up to you, but it could be an asymmetric way to 10x your business if you want to take that leap of faith. Maybe if you're already in the community and you already have a business. Also food for thought. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video if anybody you think would find this interesting. Obviously, you take responsibility for everything. But all the money is made when people perceive something to be really risky. And when it pumps really hard later on down the line, and everyone is dying to get in, you'd have positioned yourself effectively near the all-time lows. And you're investing in assets not only with crazy price potential, but also potential to generate, like I said, 10% APY with Pulse, double-digit ROI with HEX if you stake it for multiple years, and also double-digit APY with LPing. That means liquidity providing over on PulseChain. See you guys on the next video.